This is Power Athlete Radio. With your hosts, Denny K, Professor Booty, and the Luke Summers. And now, toes forward, hips locked, shoulders set, and retract those scapulars. It's time for some knowledge bombs.
Thanks for tuning in to Power Athlete Radio. This week, we are joined by New Orleans Saints fullback Austin Johnson. Get to know this football pro and what he had to do to make it to that level. Between training, traveling, and trying to stay healthy, Austin is motivated every day simply by wanting it more than his competition. John and Austin rap about life as an NFL player. Though the perks are plenty, Austin stays true to his somewhat humble beginnings. He feels he has an edge over other players because initially, scouts didn't think he had what it took to play professional football. Well, joke's on them, obviously. Now he says that chip on his shoulder has done nothing but fuel the fire and determination to stick around for as long as possible. What role did CrossFit play in prepping him for the NFL? And how did he evolve into the self-proclaimed power athlete you see today? To find out, listen now. This is episode 150.
How do they do points roll? It's like 5, 4, 3. Power Athlete Nation, what is up? You got Luke here with John in SoCal at Power Athlete HQ. Texas dialed in from Washington, D.C. And we have the amazing Austin Johnson on, 6'2", 240-pound giant who can palm a medicine ball, chews on glass, spits bullets.
I grew that beard in one day.
You're damn right.
Shaves his beard every day, and it grows out to a foot long.
I shaved this morning.
It's
Feared the beard.
impressive.
So Batman versus Superman.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Is it good?
I don't know. Tex saw it. I haven't seen it yet, but
Yeah,
I've heard a lot of.
either.
I've been reading the fucking internet, which is the worst thing to do. Which all the butthurt people are just like,
You got to stay off the internet. It's fucking
There's
stuff.
some twists and turns, Luke, so you be careful what you read.
Well, but every preview that I saw is Superman landing
superhero landing.
like on his knee with like a fist in the ground. Like there was like 7 scenes like that. And I was like,
Some Thor.
was it just them showing the same scene over or like different vantage points? But I'm like, is that how he lands all the time? You would think that Superman would actually have better proprioceptive ability than to have to land in a 3-point or in some tripod opposed from like a universal athletic position.
Are you looking for a universal athletic position landing, John?
Yeah.
Yeah, hips back. We need to Tex. Force reduction, posterior chain.
Yeah, I mean, if he's looking to absorb eccentric load through his body and translate that into ground force, he's got to do it in the most efficient way possible. And you know what? Landing on your knee with your fist is probably not the most efficient way. What do you think about that?
Luke, I think this is your next article.
I think it is. The wheels are turning, Tex. The inefficiencies of the superhero landing. Not meant for real humans. I mean, you fucking blow up your knee.
Oh, yeah. You
Dislocate your shoulder or elbow.
Dude, I remember I was trying to fucking cut a guy, and I tripped. And when I tripped, I did this like kind of like awkward thing where I tried to like fling my body at him.
Uh-huh.
And I ended up landing with my knee square on the turf.
Ugh.
Like literally my knee just drove right in the turf. It was in Buffalo. And I remember I didn't know if I broke my kneecap in half for probably an hour. And I just thinking, I'm like, I cracked my fucking kneecap, and like it was, I swear to God, I thought I was bleeding, and I was like, I fucking broke my kneecap, and I just kind of went out there, and then like about an hour later, it just kind of went away, and I just never said anything. So I was like, well, shit, as you know, the last thing you want to do is tell anybody about an injury, then you got to come in the next day and fucking treat it early. They get
Exactly.
Tuesday, and then you get your whole fucking day messed up.
And the mornings.
And the mornings, and then you got to go in there and have a bunch of useless bullshit that doesn't fucking work.
But that's like exactly how I tore my I tore like a bunch of cartilage in there, and I just like landed straight on it, like you were saying, on the turf, and just like tore up all this cartilage in there. And I tried to like jump off the field like I was all good. It wasn't happening. It didn't hurt. I'm good. And I'm like limping around. They're telling me to go back in. I can't even like, my knee keeps clicking. It's not good shit.
Dude, I like we were running a little like a little 94, I was playing right guard, and we ran a little inside zone to the right, and I had a big fucking 3 technique on me, and I remember I got underneath him, I was fucking driving him up, and got about 3 steps of movement, and our fucking center loafed, and the other D tackle hit that guy, and they fucking both landed right on the back of my heel while my toe was up, and I was in the and they landed, and I fucking got the worst turf toe. Like, that thing was like, it looked like hamburger meat. And then they were injecting it. And then like 2 years later, when I'm on like a physical, they just x-rayed my foot. They're like, oh, you had this injury. Come to find out I had a mild Liz Frank, which is where, there's like a ligament that runs through the middle of the foot. And if it fucking tears, then they have to pin your foot. And it's pretty much like where it comes from was Liz Frank was Napoleon's doctor. And before that, when this would happen because it would actually happen in the stirrups, the soldiers, they just cut their fucking foot off. Oh. So Liz Frank was this doctor that was like, no, we don't have to do it, and showed how to fix it. So I go through, they're like, you had a mild Liz Frank. Did your foot hurt? I'm like, yeah, every fucking day. And they were like, what'd they do? They were like, I was like, I don't know. They told me to just fucking go out there. Yeah. And they were like, it kind of healed itself in kind of a weird way. And I'm like, oh, fuck it doesn't hurt me that bad.
Well, it's the compensation, right? You learn just different ways to work around the limitation.
Yeah, I mean, that goes back to, and you'll appreciate this, is the best athletes in the world aren't necessarily the best athletes. They're just the ones that can recruit around the injuries the best. And I'm sure add that, like, some guy gets injured and all of a sudden he can't fucking play a snap. And then other dudes get injured and they're like, I'm fine. And that was always my deal, was like, I always knew it was time to get out of the game when all of a sudden, like, the wheels just fell off. And, like, I always knew it would be like the straw that broke the camel's back. I'd have all these injuries, and then they would be like the final injury where I was like, I can't do it anymore. Time to go home. And that's just what happened to me.
Yeah, it's just about which injuries you can manage and handle. It's always something, though. I mean, it'll be like Achilles tendonitis to patella tendonitis to doing some power cleans, just like a soft workout day, and you'd fuck up your wrist somehow. And it's always something.
It's or even I remember we used to, like, I always hated half speed shit. Like, we'd be out there in pads and, like, I always like joke, like, with the Braveheart, where I'd be like, well, we didn't get dressed up for nothing,
Yeah.
And then they'd be like, oh, we're just going to take one step and fit, this, and that shit never works, dude. You're like, if you're in the fucking, I'm like, then just take it all off. No knee pads. I remember one year in training camp, they were like, you know what, we're going to take away your knee pads so that people aren't on the ground, and that's going to prevent it. Wow. I'm telling you, dude, this is the retardedness of fucking NFL football. Like, you know what? We're just not going to give you full pads. So what we're going to do is we're just going to give you shorts with thigh pads in them.
Yeah. So that way you don't go as hard.
Yeah. You don't go as hard. But the best part is nobody wears fucking knee pads in the NFL.
Yeah.
Well, back when you were playing, y'all were doing 2-a-days. So y'all were full pads twice a day for 3 hours each session. That's
my rookie. I get drafted in '99. My rookie year, I come in. We had 42 days of training camp. We had a bye in preseason, right? 42 days of fucking training camp. We were in double days for fucking 42 days. Andy Reid's first year at the Eagles, we were in double days. Fucking, it was a baton death march of death marches. And then I went
I've heard he's not as bad anymore about that stuff either.
No, he's chilled the fuck out. But and then I left there and went to play for Dick Vermeil, which was, I don't know if you've ever heard the stories, but when Dickie V was at the Rams, they had a fucking mutiny.
Oh, yeah?
Dudes were literally like, fucking cut me, I'm out of here, and the whole team went to quit. And the idea is they can't fire us all. And that was how they finally got a fucking day off.
Yeah.
So we went in, and we were in like 2-3 hour padded practices every fucking day.
Mutiny, huh?
And it was crazy. And then I remember the year I left, so my last year was 08, and then I retired in 09. And I remember they went in and they redid the CBA, and now what is it, like 3 padded practices in training camp?
You can't have, like, you can practice like 3 days in a row with pads, and you have the 4th day has to be like off.
So they changed all these rules, and I remember Tony Gonzalez called me up, and Tony's like, dude, he's like, fuck, man. He goes, if only, we could have played 20 years like this, and he got to play 17. He's like, dude, if only you had fucking lasted a little bit longer. I'm like, dude, I got fucking road gradered. I mean, it was just, yeah. But, I mean, the thing which was interesting is the only way you learn to play offensive line is fucking with reps. and like actually like hitting and like, you know, that's how you hone your craft. So it's kind of blows me away is when I watch it now, you can see like even in like the first or second game of the year, you can see how fucking high dudes are playing. They don't learn to bend their knees, and it just comes from the lack of reps. So all of a sudden these offensive linemen just getting their fucking ass beat, and it's not for anything other than the fact that they just haven't had as many reps. I mean, they're out there making J.J. Watt look like a fucking, you know, Bruce Smith on every play, and I'm like, they're like, he's amazing. I'm like, no, the offensive linemen just aren't as fucking good as he used to be.
Yeah.
That's an official call out to J.J. Watt.
Fuck him. You know what? I would have, if I had one regret was I didn't get to play against that dude. I would have loved to have played against that guy.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, big, tall guy, stand-ups. I mean, he plays so fucking high. Always, you know, big open moves, dude. We would have busted that dude's ribs up. I would have tried to hurt him on every play. I mean, we went down to play against Miami, and I was playing left guard. And, dude, like our left tackle decided he had a phantom back injury like 10 minutes before the game because he was all nervous about Jason Taylor coming down there, was having a hell of a year. And all of a sudden, dude, we're literally getting ready to go out, and he all of a sudden lays down on the ground. It's like, I can't get on my back like that. It's like 10 minutes before the game. So we're looking around, and we only dressed 7 dudes. We had a backup center. We had a swing guy. And I remember the young dude, the coach looks at him. He's like, you're going to have to start against a left tackle in Miami against Jason Taylor. And, like, the kid's fucking shitting himself. And, like, I remember offensive line coach was like, well, what do you think, John? I'm like, let's just fucking go two-jet. We'll just fucking slide left every time. And he's like, why? And, like, because all we got to do is hopefully we get that guy in, like, a 1 and put Jason wide. I'm going to bust his fucking rib. And that's what I did. I went and busted his rib and took him out of the game.
Awesome.
He tried this big, like, overarching, like, big swim move like this. And I hit him right here. And he was like, left the game. And I remember I saw him after. He's like, you motherfucker, I was having a fucking Pro Bowl year. You got to come break my rib. I'm like, dude, we got to fucking, you're about to kill this fucking young kid. You know? But
that's right.
I wasn't playing in the NFL. Now they probably fucking suspend me for something like that.
Probably.
So Austin played at University of Tennessee, currently a fullback on the Saints, man. So what's going on? What's up? Thanks for joining Power Athlete Radio.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm just hanging out in North Carolina. Just kind of chilling with my family, is where they're from, and just waiting to go back to New Orleans for OTAs, and just been training here, so it's been going well.
So when does OTA start? Or, well, I guess right after the draft, right?
April 18th is like when all like the veterans and stuff come. So then I think like the rookies get there a couple weeks after that.
Nice. Well, don't they bring the rookies in for that little like rookie deal? They still have that? Like
yeah, so they'll have like a rookie mini camp or whatever, and that's like so like the draft rookies, and then they'll bring in a bunch of guys. We'll all go to that camp like right before we start practicing for OTAs.
Nice.
So that sucks. The rookie minicamp sucks. So my first year I was on the practice squad. So the following year I had to do rookie minicamp again. And it's so bad because like you have all these rookies there. They're like trying to prove themselves.
Sure.
And it's like, all right, we're in walkthrough and these kids, all we have is a helmet on. And these like young dudes are like coming full speed, like bull rushing and pass pro. Like I feel so bad for our tackles because like, I don't even know what to tell them because they're getting either bull rushed or swimmed or spin and they got no pads on. It's like impossible to play. And I remember whenever I finally got my
cutting people.
Yeah, really. There's so many more fights.
Sorry about that shit. Like literally, like we were in a fucking one-on-one, like just like walkthrough shit, and we had a dude who was a practice squad guy that they signed off or that got cut by the Giants. And literally, the dude fucking clubbed me in the head on a walkthrough. And like, I'm like, you know, we're wearing fucking helmets, and I'm like, this motherfucker. So the next play, you know, we like set up real fast, and I flashed him and fucking speared him right in the knees and fucking cut him in a drill. And the dude took a shot at me, and we ended up getting a big fight.
And I'm sure he didn't do that again, though.
This is the portion where Tex and I, as you know, high school washouts of high school football, have no fucking clue. The level of intensity that like people want to survive and get their moment in that.
Well, it's really interesting because you bring in like when I came in the NFL, the comment was made. You have really violent people getting paid a lot of money to do really violent things to other violent people, and upon that, just violence is going to fucking happen. And then it was weird. Then there was like this whole shift into like, we need to have a better image. We don't need you guys to be as violent. And I remember that shift happened in like 2003. All of a sudden, I got fined like 5 games in a row. I basically got fined $50,000 in like 2 or 3 games for taking late shots down around the pile. I kicked the dude in the balls. I mean, there was just a bunch of weird shit. And all of a sudden, they were just doling out these fines. Before, it was like $1,500. You're like, all right, it's all right. But all of a sudden, you get like a $5,000 or $10,000 fine, and you're like, holy fuck, that's a lot of money. And so then, like, there was like this whole weird thing that they sent us. Like, I remember Runyon and I got it, where it was like, based on your history of violence, we are going to take a like very aggressive approach in terms of finding you to try to change the image. And pretty funny, dude. So,
isn't History of Violence a movie?
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
This is a good one.
Yeah, that actually was in Philly. That was a Philly deal.
Oh, yeah.
But so it's the NFL, and this, dude. It's like their biggest fear is that people are going to realize that it's just entertainment. Like they've somehow like weaved this thing in that like football's in America's
it's like a religion.
Yeah, it's like a religion, and the last thing they want to do is have fucking players. I mean, dude, like they'll be pissed at you, but when things get on SportsCenter and all of a sudden there's like Ray Rice punching his old lady, oh my god, it wasn't a big deal until the video surfaced, and then they had a PR problem. So,
Well, Austin, give us a little background, man. I mean, growing up, what sports did you play? When did you start training? I know you're following Field Strong. You've been involved with Wade's Army and everything. So I guess
thank you.
Yeah, and we appreciate that. But where'd you come from? How'd you get to where you're at? What were some defining moments in your development?
Well, like I came from North Carolina, Hickory, North Carolina. Obviously went to Tennessee, and I played linebacker, and I went through a lot of stuff there. I went through 3 head coaches. So my first year, I had Fulmer, and then I had Lane Kiffin, and then I had Derek Dooley, and I kind of bounced around there. And I graduated from there as a linebacker, and that's when I went to. And like throughout college, I was always, just your typical bodybuilding kind of meathead in the weight room, I would say. I didn't really follow any kind of CrossFit stuff. I know it wasn't huge then, but I was all about just getting bigger and stronger. And then I left there and I went to the Baltimore Ravens as a free agent. They signed me after the draft, or like we agreed to terms. And when I got there,
what year was this? What year?
This was in 2011. So I failed my physical with a torn labrum. So I had left there and I went and worked out for a couple teams, and nobody wanted to sign me because of my shoulder. And I was supposed to be playing linebacker at the time. So I sat out like a whole year. I went and got my shoulder fixed. I came back home. I was rehabbing it, and my buddy, Kent Stamey, he owned CrossFit Hickory at the time. So I kind of went to him, and because I knew he knew a lot about, just rehabilitation stuff. And he kind of strengthened my shoulder through like some CrossFit type stuff. And that's kind of when like I really got into CrossFit, I would say. I wouldn't say I was really into like the power athlete. I really wasn't. I was more of like, I was doing these like long Metcons, like just getting in shape, starting to get like ripped up, like all this stuff. Like I was thinking I was looking good. I was competing in the open. I finished like 70th in my region. Like I thought I was all that and all this. And then the Saints called me and they told me to come. They wanted me to play fullback, and I'd waited like a year. So I was like, you know what? Like screw it. I'll go to the Saints. I'll play fullback. Like it's a dream. I went there. I went through camp, and I got cut and went to the practice squad. And I was weighing probably like 235 at the most. Once that season got over with, I was like, you know what? I got to get serious about my training. So I gained like 20 pounds, and then I started doing more of the Field Strong stuff. I looked at like the CrossFit football websites, the strongman wads, and I started just kind of adjusting my training for the past 3 years, just basically like lifting heavy, moving it quick, moving it, not a lot of rest, doing that kind of stuff. And that's kind of how I got into it.
Yeah, got to replicate the demands of the sport.
Yeah. I kind of had a weird kind of vision too. So I started training at a CrossFit gym in like 2008, and we were doing a bunch of Metcon stuff, and then I ended up competing in the CrossFit Games, and then like a week later I went to go training camp with the Patriots, and all of a sudden like I went out, I smoked my conditioning test, and all of a sudden we get down to pads for that day one, all of a sudden the ball snaps, and I remember like my mind was saying move, and I couldn't get my body to move as fast as I needed it to, and I remember I got beat around the corner at tackle, and I remember I had this like almost like mild panic attack where I realized I was like, oh fuck, submaximal efforts produce submaximal results.
Right.
I remember like having to like all of a sudden be like, all right, well, fuck, if this is on one, I'm gonna have to jump this count every time, just to try to fucking beat these guys, because I just didn't feel like I had the same pop in my legs. I ended up getting hurt, and when I came home, I had knee surgery and was like, coming back to rehab, and that's when CrossFit hit me up about doing CrossFit football, and I pretty much had all of this time to think about everything that I did fucking wrong in my training. I was like, you know what? I'm never going to allow anybody to go down the road that I went down. And so that's where CrossFit football came out, and Power Athlete and all these things was about. One day some football player will stumble upon this, and he does not need to know the fucking mistakes that I made. Mm-hmm. And that's really where the stuff came about, hey, if you're going to do something, let's do, short, heavy, hard, fast. Let's bank some heavy weights. The idea that to be able to survive a longer Metcon, you have to have a conversion to fast twitch and slow twitch muscle fibers just to be able to survive that type of stuff. And on the football field, where 5 to 7 seconds, as hard as you can at max intensity, those two are not mutually exclusive. And the idea that I got to train one, and that's really where the whole training kind of took this approach. So I'm stoked that you kind of saw that transition. We're like, yo, man, I got to go this direction. So,
yeah, like one of the biggest things I saw was like, not just like the CrossFit mentality. I guess if you want to use the word CrossFit, but like these workouts like took me to like a certain point where, you always hit like, I love like hitting that wall and being able to like push past it. And like I remember, I will never forget my rookie year. We're playing the Dolphins in the 4th preseason game, and I'm sitting there on special teams, and I'm smoked, like, cause I'm number 2 on the depth chart. So the 4th preseason game, the starters don't play. Sure. So I've been playing the whole game, all special teams, and I'm just dying. Like I'm tired. I'm over it, and I'll never forget. I'm sitting on punt team. And like I'm sitting there winded, like about to puke, and I remember thinking like, dude, I've had this feeling like so many times in a lot of my workouts, and I can either hit this wall right now and jog down the field, it's another play, or I can go and make the most of it. This could be my last NFL play ever and make a tackle. And I went down there and I made the tackle. I'm not saying that credit to myself, like, oh, I made a tackle, but just about like how like that kind of that workout, no matter what workout it was, could have possibly helped me, further my playing career now. So
did in college, what did your strength conditioning look like in college? I mean, I know you mentioned Lane Kifflin, who, I don't know much about the guy other than the fact that, having gone to Berkeley, I'm basically dislike everything USC. So I just kind of, and living here in Orange County, which is like the fucking the hotbed for the SC douchebags.
Yeah, Trojan Gap.
Oh, it's fucking worse. I drive by and I want to throw like rocks at all my neighbors that have the SC flags up. So I just always kind of paid attention to that, and I was surprised when he went out there. But what did the strength conditioning look like out there? I mean, was it more like kind of NFL based? Was it kind of more mat drills? Like, what did it look like?
Well, since we had so many head coaches, I went through like 4 or 5 strength and conditioning coaches. Oh, so I saw so many different types of like programming. Like one of our coaches, he'd have us come in at 5 a.m. every morning, and we'd run half gassers. So we'd run like 10 half gassers, and then we'd up down for our rest, and then do it again, and then like. Then we'd go to class, then we'd have to come back later in the afternoon and do our strength portion.
So you had a little dawn patrol every morning?
Yeah. It actually kind of sucked because like a bunch of guys lost like a ton of weight.
Sure.
Because back in college, like you're not thinking about your food as kind of like your job at that age, I would say. Like now it's like if I like, I'm constantly thinking about when's my next meal. But back in college, it was kind of like, all right, well, I'm bored right now. I'll go eat or whatever it was.
Well, shit, I remember we were in college. Shit, we had like $740 a month was our scholarship check. My rent was like $75, and we only had a training table for one meal during the season. So it was so far below the poverty line that like I remember one of the guys I played with was like, we can probably go get some food stamps. And we were so far, so like it just. I remember one of my NFL moments was like when I first got paid. I remember I went to the grocery store and I was like, I could fucking buy all of this cheese. It was the weirdest thing. Like, it was a huge thing of cheese. And I was like, I can afford all of this. Yeah. And I went over and like normally you're like over there like doing this deal. You're like, shit, man. Okay, if I get some
cheese only on Saturdays,
I could probably get like a pound of this. And I remember being like, fuck, I could get like 10 pounds of this fucking like $300 or like the $30 fillets. And I like that was like the best thing when like I finally realized I could afford all of the food I wanted to eat and I didn't fucking buy everything. Yeah.
Exactly.
Austin, did you have Benny Wiley one year at Tennessee?
Yeah, I did. He was awesome. I mean, I got to like be close with him, like in a relationship wise. He was always kind of a good like mentor to me. But he was. Do you know him?
Yeah. I worked under him at UT in Texas.
Oh yeah. He's yoked up, isn't he? He's huge.
Yeah, it was hilarious. Whenever we had a recruit walk in, Benny would get a call in 30 minutes before the walk down, and he'd just put on tight spandex, get a pump, and then walk the kid around.
Yeah. He loves doing forearms. He always wanted to do like forearms and biceps. That's all he wanted to do.
He's like the most jacked get back coach in the world, huh?
Yeah. I saw he's about to be on some like show. They have like some show coming out soon, like where their team, like these personal trainers are like teamed up with these like average like house moms and stuff, and like they have to like go through obstacle courses and stuff. And I saw Benny Wiley as one of the contestants.
Dude, if you guys don't know, there's strength coaches have a dual purpose in college and the NFL. They're known as what's called get back coaches. So like if you watch like during the game, there's like coaches, obviously headsets.
Get back coaches,
right? So like all like the coaches and everybody are there and the players, and if there's usually like different sections you'll see them painted. If the players or the coaches get too far on the field, they'll get a penalty. So they put the strength coach in charge of making sure that people don't like get too far out of their space. So we used to call them the fucking get back coaches. Get back. And so all the strength coaches are basically professional get back coaches. And it'd be fucking game day, and I'd be like, hey, you need to fucking lock in and make sure that nobody gets on the field. Well, you know what? We're going to fucking win and lose based on your – I used to fuck with the strength coaches so bad, and I'd fucking all of a sudden they'd be standing there like, get back. And I'd fucking push them on the field. They'd be like, well, Warren, stop fucking with me. I'm going to get back. And we used to fuck with those dudes nonstop. So my favorite is, it's always a strength coach. Is like the one dude I forgot at USC that like tripped the kid, I think. Was it SC or what was that?
That was for like New England, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. So, that's basically get back coach got too far on the field and tripped somebody. So I thought that was in college but that was at New England, huh? I think it was a college. There was a college that did it too.
It happens more than we hear about, but yeah.
So
I know it was the Eagles. There was an Eagles.
Oh, Eagles! It was the Eagles. That's what it was.
But you don't call those strength coaches the get back coaches? You never heard that?
Oh, I've heard that, and it's hilarious that you say that because it's so true, and they're so annoying.
Oh, yeah,
they piss me off.
This is their game day.
I get it.
Fucking get back, and we just
I would crush that.
Oh yeah.
Well, like I'm not in on every play, so like I have to listen to the personnel. So like I'm like up by the coach that's giving the personnel grouping, and our strength coach come up like, Austin, get back. And I was like, I hear you. Like, shut up.
Oh, dude, yeah, we used to fuck with those dudes nonstop. That's why I would always go, like, sit on the bench. Like, I never get over there. I either was on the field or, like, sitting, like, I'd just hang out by the bench in the back and just be like, I can't get near these fucking guys. But then the other problem, too, is if you sit on the bench or anywhere near the bench, your position coach will see you and come over and talk to you about random shit that, like, I don't want to fucking – well, you know what? Like, if you're trying to coach me on game day, either I suck or you failed. Like, at that point, like, the hay's in the barn, go out there and fucking do your job. Like the worst is we come over and they want to go over all the cut-ups, like the fucking printouts. So what they do is they get all this video and they, like, want to show you all this shit. And you're like, dude, we fucking saw this all week, dude. You're not going to teach me something on, the 3 minutes we're on the sideline that's going to be this revolutionary shit. And then the coaches are fucking going crazy. And I'm like, dude, fuck you. Just let the fucking way. Let's
let the kids play.
Yeah.
You got to let those guys play.
So, like, we used to, like, kind of, like, go over and sit down for a second. And the coach come over, we just fucking walk away. They'd be like, where are you going? I'll be like, I'll be over here hiding. Get the fuck away from me. So, the joys of NFL football, dealing with a bunch of people I don't want to be in a foxhole with.
Yeah.
Fucking worst.
So, Austin, let's go back to Tennessee. And like, how would you compare and contrast over the 3 coaching staffs, just that training? So we got Benny's training, which is forearms and biceps. Then
and
you had
performance polos. No sleep.
Yeah, and then I had Johnny Long. So he was my freshman year. He was a lot more Olympic lifting type. I had him for a short period of time, but we would like snatch and power clean and do all that. And then and I always could tell a lot by a strength coach, like looking back now, based off the standard of the squat. Because like some of my strength coaches back in the day, they would like, guys would literally go down 2 inches to like the little pole or the line and come back up and get good lifts, or like give them the spot up. And then like, so that's kind of how and then one of my strength coaches was, he has a military background. McKeefrey was his last name.
Oh yeah. What's his name? He's buddies with Ben from Train Heroic.
Oh yeah.
That's how we know that guy. Yeah, McKeefrey. Yeah.
Yeah, he was good too. He was more. He liked doing like UFC stuff. Like we'd have like a guy come in there. We'd like do stuff with our hands and fight and stuff like that, which was pretty cool. But like everyone brought like their own little thing. But most of it all was bodybuilding in the weight room. We always did like 110s. McKeefrey like doing like 300-yard sprints, which now I don't really see.
The 300-yard shuttles.
Yeah.
So you had to run like was it like either 5 or 6, 50s or 60s? That was like the in college. My strength coach Todd Rice. That was like the gold standard was the fucking 300-yard shuttle, and you had the choice of either 5 60s or 6 50s. So what do you select?
Fucking the barrel. Just chew on a barrel. Fucking pull the trigger.
I'm all about less is more. So, like, to me, the 560s means less turns, right?
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah, less turns. So that was the one I remember. We did it one year. We did the 560s, and I did fine. And then all of a sudden went to the 650s, and I fucking imploded. It was like a monkey jumped on my back on that last one.
The year before I got to New Orleans, their conditioning test was 300-yard shuttles. And then once the year I got there, that was Sean Payton's suspension year. And then the year I got there, Sean Payton comes back and he implements like CrossFit into our
like Fran.
workouts.
He's like, hey, we're doing Fran for our conditioning. Hey, is Scotty still fucking fat ass still your?
Yeah, Scotty.
Oh, that fat piece of shit. He was our he was one of the assistants when I was in Philly, and
oh gosh,
such a douchebag. Yeah.
What's the conditioning test look like now, Austin?
Well, we've had 3 of them now, or 2. Yeah, 3. So like the first year we did it, it was, I can tell you exactly what it was. It was 10 power cleans, 15 burpees, 20 squats on the ball, like on a med ball, and then you ran 10 back, 20 back, 30 back. That's one round. You did 3 rounds of that for time.
Did Coach Payton design that?
Coach Payton supposedly wrote that workout, and
that's
like
the
so
worst
many.
workout I've ever heard.
It like you should have seen it. It was bad. The power cleans were like the power clean weight was like 185 or something like that.
Like a straight reverse girl.
The guys' backs were shot. We had one guy go to the hospital because he was like he couldn't breathe. And you couldn't even hear anything in the special teams meeting that night because everyone had that cough,
Yeah,
we were inside, and like you could, yeah, it was so bad. So then, like the following year, they're like, all right, we got to take out like the barbell stuff and all that. So we did like it's like 10 ball slams or 15 ball slams, 10 hand release push ups, and then you push the sled half the field. And then you ran so you're going across the field. So you push the sled half the field, you'd run to the other side and back. So it was like a gasser, but you would push the sled halfway. Yeah. And you did like 5 rounds of that or something like that, which was a little better but then like guys complaining that like the turf, there were certain parts on the turf that didn't slide as well as others. Everyone always has some kind of excuse.
Oh, Jesus.
Did y'all have those workout heroes, like the bubble players that are just going balls out on the workout to make the starters look?
Oh yeah, you definitely have those guys. And I'll admit, my rookie year, I was that guy. I was like, I do CrossFit. I'm going to definitely dominate this workout. But yeah, you got the guys, or you have like the rookies that are like go balls out in the very beginning, and then they just tank, so they ultimately fail their conditioning test. Yeah. Because how they judged. One thing I liked was how they judged the like if you pass fail on these type of workouts was they took it. So when you did that 10-10-10 and then you push the sled, that was 1 round, and they got your time from that round. So you wanted to keep a consistent time each round. Okay. So if your last round fell off by like 20 seconds to a minute, then you failed the conditioning test.
Would you rest between rounds, or was it just running clock?
Well, no, you got to sandbag the shit out of that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I think you had it was like each round you had 3 minutes. So it was 3 minutes for each round. You rested the remainder of the 3 minutes.
Okay.
Do you think that adding some elements of that kind of mixed modal kind of deal help or hurt the team in terms of overall performance?
You talking about like kind of how we do the conditioning test and stuff?
Well, no, I just always wondered like whenever an NFL team has a lot of success, and then all of a sudden they have less success, people always kind of look at things and be like, well, what changed? And I know that, New Orleans had done so well for so long, and then the last couple seasons has kind of what changed? Sean Payton, is it players? I mean, quarterback, like what changed? And, I always wonder if, maybe, was it training? Was it players? Are you guys poised for a new year? Compared to, because, dude, there was a time where fucking New Orleans was unbelievable. Watching, the defense was fast. Special teams, just really, really played a solid game. So I'm just wondering kind of, was it a change in philosophies? How did it all kind of,
Yeah, my first year I got there, when we started doing some of this, Sean Payton brought, we had a good year that year. We went I think we won the first round of the playoffs, and we ended up losing the second round to Seattle, who ultimately went on to go to the Super Bowl. And I felt like that team, when we did those workouts and stuff, it was really competitive. And I thought it brought a good competitive nature. And we had camp in New Orleans. We had a lot of leaders on the team, older guys, veteran guys that I think you ultimately need on the team, even if their production isn't where it used to be. I think their presence helped so much. And, I'm not pointing any finger. I don't know what the issue was, but then my second year, we moved camp to West Virginia at the Greenbrier. So we started having camp there, which I wouldn't say that that's the problem, because we're just changing locations.
Sure.
But that changed. We lost a lot of veteran guys that, I think they thought were replaceable, which kind of hurt us in our leadership factor.
Sure.
And, I just think it's a bunch of stuff that kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of not just one thing. That's probably one of the most insightful and one of the most underrated things that people don't realize about an NFL team is that, you have these kind of veteran leadership, and where that becomes most apparent is when all of a sudden shit starts going south. Because you have this weird, it's kind of like in the Army, you have enlisted guys, you have officers, and then you have obviously the higher ups, but it's all of a sudden there's this kind of weird deal where you have your officers, but then there's the enlisted guys that are your chiefs that are in charge. Mm-hmm. And it's when the young guys don't know what to do, they fucking don't go to the those guys aren't really leading day to day. And so I always think if your officers are your coaches per se, and then your enlisted guys are the players, you have to have that kind of veteran leadership that sits at the top, because all of a sudden when things start going south, or you're down in a game, or things aren't going right, or there's some bullshit like who knows, stupid stuff going on in the locker room. You always need those older dudes that can go like, one, settle everybody down, sort some shit out, or come up with a big play when all of a sudden things look fucking dismal. And that was kind of interesting for me. I remember being a young guy, and there was old dudes. When I was a young dude, like I came in and like these old guys kind of took us under their wing, and then all of a sudden I show up and they cut all those old guys, and then I was the starter as a rookie. And I'm like looking around and I'm like, where'd those old guys go that were talking about, doing stuff? And now all of a sudden they're gone. So I always think that like, that's the problem with the NFL is they're always constantly looking to like stay younger and, we got to replace this guy and, stay younger. And then they end up kind of losing those dudes. And I think that's really where you get a lot of that veteran leadership, which is just such a deal, but it's kind of a sad deal, but it's the fucking nature of the game, dude. All of a sudden you hit like 7, 8 years and 30 years old, and all of a sudden expiration date starts popping up on you real fast.
Yeah. It's amazing how like experience really does like come into factor in the NFL and in that working world, because guys that have just been there, done that, they just get it. And like, that's why you don't see these rookies coming in. Like, it's very seldom you see like a rookie come in and just dominate, because it's a different beast. I mean, you could actually be an average college player and come in and actually be really successful in the NFL. And, there's just something to it that some people just can't, grasp.
But don't they always talk about, like, I remember every year they're like, oh, this rookie. And I'd be like, sure, see what he does. And you know what? And like the other one too, and what most people don't factor in is that, in college, your season's 10, 11, 12 weeks. You got maybe a week or two of training camp. That's like 12, 13 weeks. In an NFL season, that's like the first quarter of the season, because you're in training camp for like, 3, 4, 5 weeks. And you get to there and it's like all of a sudden, like, you hit like mid, end of like November, early December. And you see these rookies coming in, like somebody shit on them, and you're like, dude, you're all right? They're like, man, I'm so fucking tired. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? We're just getting ready to get make a run on this motherfucker. Like this ain't no time, time to be tired. Let's go. And I think that was the biggest thing with young guys, is just seeing like how fast they broke down. And
is that an inability to pace, or is it just it's a new gear they hit, and you just gotta fucking stress to progress?
Well, I think in college there's like this idea where you're like a student athlete, right? So you have a life, you go to school, you play, and there's requirements. All of a sudden you get to the NFL, and they're like, this is all you do. You show up there. We would show up at 6:30 in the morning. We would train. Our first meeting was at we'd watch film at 8. And then it's like, first meeting's at 9, and then all of a sudden you're there to lunch, and like you leave at 4 or 5 o'clock at night, and you do that every day. Like, there is no social life, there is no school, there is no like NCAA requirement on it. I think it's just, for a lot of young guys, it's just really overwhelming. Mm-hmm. Now having retired, I miss it, because it was nice to show up and never have to think about what you were going to do that day. Mm-hmm. Now it's, I remember I retired and I was like, now what the fuck am I going to do?
Your whole life had been a schedule.
Yeah, since you think about it, you start playing at 14 years old. For over almost 20 years of my life, every single day was regimented with a schedule. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like, I mean, you obviously know the feeling after the season ends, when all of a sudden you have your exit meeting. You come in and the coach goes, okay, I'll see you guys in a couple months, and everybody looks over and they're like, now what do we do? People matter. It's fucking plane tickets, limo. People go crazy, and it's like, all of a sudden you're like, fuck, I guess I don't, get in trouble, So the joys of it. But no, it was a lot of fun. I'm sure, dude, like you relate, like it was one of the most rich, fun experiences I've ever had, for not only just the competition aspect, but, the ability to go out and do that job at a high level, and, be able to do it with your friends. I mean, hopefully some guys you like and a lot of guys you don't, but nevertheless, you guys always have a common mission, which is to go out and beat people's asses, which is really interesting. When you get out, when you stop playing, you're like, fuck, I don't get to go out and just, fucking strap up a helmet and get out all of my anger every single day on some poor fucker on the field. That was the biggest adjustment for me, was that I didn't have the ability to go like let out my aggression on things, and that's sad. I think the world would be a better place if everybody got to strap up a fucking helmet and go fucking beat wholesale ass. So, any injuries, anything you're dealing with right now, like training wise, like any goals, like, give us kind of a rundown of where you're at, how you're feeling.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, you know how it is. There's always something going on. But I had some problems with my toe with the turf toe thing. I had like a bone spur in there. I ended up getting that kind of fixed up a little bit, and then, but like most stuff, just kind of I needed the rest. Like the off season's such a crucial time because like just taking time off and just like getting your body rested. So I ramped things back up about a month and a half ago, and it's been fun getting back into it. But obviously, like talk about like a regimen and doing all that. Like in the off season, like you get done training and getting done with your massages and taking care of your body, and then it's kind of like, all right, what do I do now? I just sit around and do nothing all day. So it's like now I'm kind of like antsy. Yeah, I'm like antsy to get back to New Orleans and get things ramped up again. And then I know like whenever camp hits, I'm gonna be halfway through camp and be like, shit, I wish I could get back to off season where I was doing nothing because this shit sucks.
Where do you live down in like New Orleans, like Metairie, that area?
I live in the warehouse district, so it's like downtown.
Sure,
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I know New Orleans. I trained for the combine when I was out in Kenner, like Metairie area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Tom Shaw, who's actually out in Orlando now. So I went down and worked out with Tom Shaw down there. So I used to take
nice.
a little bit.
Yeah, it's a fun city. I mean, it took me a little while to get used to it. New Orleans definitely different, and you got to kind of be be from there to kind of fit in there. So, but being like a Saints guy, they obviously open up to you a lot more. So once I've been in there, got plugged in, like it's been a lot more fun, and I've enjoyed being in the city.
Yeah, no, I had a good time when I was down there. It was, and then I lived in Tampa in the off seasons, and so I lived down there for a long time. So we used to jump on the plane and come over to New Orleans a lot in the off season. And my buddy Kyle Turley at the time was playing for the Saints, so I used to come over and kick with Kyle a bit. And he was like a fucking rock star in New Orleans.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not like married or anything, so I'm not like tied down to any place, which is kind of nice.
Good for
you. You're living John's dream.
Yeah,
NFL athlete.
I'm enjoying it.
CrossFit gym with a bunch of CrossFit girls just wander around shaking their ass.
It's great.
My only regret, and not my only regret, but I'm sad that I wasn't a little bit younger, because if I had been single playing the NFL, I would have joined every single CrossFit gym within like 100 miles. I would have fucking traveled just to drop in on CrossFit gyms.
Yeah.
Like I would have been on Instagram and been like, where does she train? Can we take a trip over there?
Right.
Oh my God, I play in the NFL. Oh, it's so nice. You want to go get a shake or something? Like,
dude, look at the grin on his face. He knows what's up.
Yeah, well, so when I came in the NFL, I was a young guy. I had a girlfriend from college, and I remember there was like all the old dudes. Like I think it was 4 rookies, and like there was 10 old guys. Like 7 of them were divorced, 2 were separated, and 1 was in the process of getting a divorce. And I remember they gave me some great advice. They were like, man, for some reason, being married in the NFL doesn't really work that well. And they were like, if you want to, guaranteed on staying married and having a happy deal, don't think about it until you retire. And I was like, really? Oh, that sounds all right. And then that's what I ended up doing. I ended up with single my NFL career, and then I got married after, just because playing in the NFL, dude, it's fairly selfish.
Yeah.
And being a parent and being married is actually the opposite of being selfish. Like being a parent is like the most anti-selfish thing you do, because the kids are so selfish. I mean, it's all about them. Mm-hmm. And, being married, splitting time, like I can't imagine having, the time and effort that I put into not only playing, training, eating, and just enjoying my life. Like I would never have traded that, and like and then the other, now that I'm, out of it and I'm married and I got kids and stuff, like I'm really glad I did it that way. Like there was really no regrets. So I'm stoked that, you're a young guy out there, just living your life, having a good time, and like, doing that. Cause I mean, I remember dudes I played with that had like 3 and 4 kids, and we're trying to be dads and husbands and this and doing all these things. And I'm like, man, fuck, that just seems really overwhelming. Like I
know, like coming back from practice or something like that, or a tough game and having to answer a bunch of questions when you got home. Like, I can't even imagine that right now.
Dude,
I love going back to my apartment with no one there and just sitting there and being by myself for the night.
I can. Let me tell you, Could not agree more. I dream of coming home and nobody being home. Just it's impossible. I got 3 kids now and a wife, so I mean, I'm never by myself. My only joy is when I get here to the office early and Luke doesn't show up, and I'm here by myself.
You can do that every day if you want.
You should just work from home. But you know what? Like it's you know, and I don't think people realize this, but to really you know, be really good at your job and to really do, you know, the job that you're doing and do it at a high level, you have to be a selfish person. You're like, it has to be about you. You're like, man, I want to train. I want to sleep. I want to eat. I want to enjoy my life. And I want to, like, you know, relax. And, you know, the problem is that you can't burn the candle at both ends and be successful. I mean, some guys can. I couldn't. Like, I couldn't have all of this going on over here and be successful over here. And I think for a lot of guys, they just heap so much on your plate. And I'm like, dude, like, just take a deep breath, man. Like, do, you know, be good at what you're at and, you know, and fucking enjoy it. Because I don't think a lot of guys really take the opportunity to really enjoy what they're doing. And it, you know, it happens so fast. I mean, dude, I played 10 years and like, it seemed like a blink of an eye. Like I remember all of a sudden I retired and I was like, shit, that went by really fast. It's just because you're in the, you know, you're in the fight and you're kind of living it and doing it. And then all of a sudden you get out, you take a step back and you're like, man, that was pretty fucking awesome. Somebody paid me a lot of money to go beat people's asses and lift weights and train. And, you know, and now what do we do? So
that's
so like what I know my ex-girlfriend won't be listening to this, so I can say this, but when I first got to New Orleans, I had a girlfriend and she was like, and I went down there and I told her like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, you know, this has been my dream. I'm probably going to be very selfish. Like I want to focus on this. We won't be able to talk as much. She was like, oh, okay, I'm fine with that. 2 months later, she calls me and is like, hey, I think I need to move there. Like, you know, I want to move forward in our relationship. This is my rookie year. And I was like, that's not what I want. I don't want that. I don't want you moving here. I don't even know if I'm going to make the team. She's like, well, that's what I want. It's over. And I was like, all right, bye.
See ya. Yeah.
Oh, you're like, that was so easy.
And so, like, think about it now. Like, I could have went through my career, like, with a girlfriend, got engaged probably my rookie year. I could be having, like, my first kid right now. But, you know, that decision now is looking, like, sweeter and sweeter every day. So,
well, I'll just give you this, dude. The dad that I am today is a much better father than I would have been if I had kids early on. Just because, you know, I mean, just the amount of time and effort and, like, you got to be able to appreciate it a little bit. You got to have some fucking perspective. Like, you know, having been through different trials and tribulations, lived in different places, experienced different things, it just gives you a much more rich experience. Whereas, you know, like, I had like some people that, you know, we're in preschool with, so the parents, like the dad just had his 40th birthday and he's like, oh, you know, he's having all these problems with it. And he was kind of asked my wife, you know, when we were out, he's like, you know, I'm having these issues. And she's like, you know, you know, how does John feel about it? And she's like, I don't think he gives a shit. He's like, really? Why? He's like, because I think in his, you know, for a bunch of years of his life, he lived the life he exactly wanted to. And, you know, now at this point, you're living the life that you want. And I think a lot of people, you know, have a lot of regrets. So all of a sudden when they get a little bit older and they hit a couple like milestones, like at 30 or 40 years old, people get this feeling of regret. Like I haven't accomplished or did the things that I wanted to. And whereas, you know, somebody asked me, you know, like if you died tomorrow, would you feel fulfilled? I'd be like, honestly, when I get up there, the dude's going to look at me and be like, you had a lot of fun, you know, go that way. And so, you know, and I think that's what you should do. You know, you should go out. I mean, dude, you have a job that less than, you know, 0.001% of the population ever gets to do. You get to, you know, that feeling of putting on the game day uni and fucking running out of the tunnel and hearing your name called in front of 100,000 people cheering is like, you know, a phenomenal deal. To be able to go out and play that game and fight one-on-one and battle and do all those things, I mean, is killer. And dude, I wish everybody got to experience that, but very few people do. And so with that, I think you just the perspective of having that opportunity. I mean, you know, fucking enjoy it, and you know, and like, you know, look at it like, hey, I'm gonna, you know, and like you said it perfect. Like, be selfish, dude. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, people equate selfish with being bad, but I look at it like, fuck, that's the only way that you're ever going to be the best at what you want to be, is to be a little selfish on that end. You got fucking the rest of your life to be unselfish. So, Fucking good for you. It fucking makes me smile. Brings, fucking warms my heart. It was like I remember when I was an older guy, these young guys would come in and all this, and I'd be like, "Yo, you're doing it all fucking wrong. Like, take a deep breath. Enjoy this shit because you might be home tomorrow. And they'd be like, "Oh,
right.
no, fucking buy a house and get married, have all that
Get those
shit."
rims.
Like, but yeah, I always tell these guys my favorite story was this fucking dipshit bought I think it was 20 pairs of rims and had them delivered to the stadium, and they were in front of his locker because his rims kept cracking out on the big dips, and so he just ordered a whole bunch of rims because he got some deal on a volume order, and but yet had nowhere to store them and no way to get them home, so he had to pay the fucking equipment dude to store them in the back of the equipment room. And the dude had 20 sets of rims. It was it was fucking crazy. I was like, he gets boxes up, and they asked me what's the stupidest thing I saw. I was like, the dude that bought 20 sets of rims. Fucking moron. I mean, it had to be $75,000 worth of fucking rims.
The guys spending money is just another whole discussion on that stuff.
Dude, I think they think I'm fucking with them, but I'm like, I've seen people do the dumbest shit where you're and I'm sure you don't do this. I'm gauging probably your attire right now, but some of the guys we used to have little fashion contests about who they would like. A lot of the DBs and a lot of the guys and linebackers, they would have these little dress up thing on road games, and they would show up for their little fashion show, and then everybody would vote on who the winner was, and they put a pot of money together on it. The fucking outfits dudes would show up in would blow your fucking mind. It was
that's retarded. And then guys, I know guys this year that were like, hey, Austin, some of the younger guys, hey, we get a player performance bonus, right, in the off season. I'm like, yeah, man, but that shouldn't be don't think of that as another check. That should go to savings and stuff. He's like, well, I've saved up a little bit, man. I got $50,000 left. I'm like, what? Dude, you made $600,000 this year and you got $50,000 left? Are you kidding me?
Dude, the way that shit happens is, a set of Gators costs you $5,000, and you got them in 20 different colors. I swear to dude, a guy showed up in custom size 14 yellow Gators. You got to have Gators at all times. That was a big deal. I mean, mink coats, mink hats. I mean, dude, Louis Vuitton, the craziest shit. And then I actually went the other way, and I was trying to figure out outfits that were just above the bar by this much to where I wouldn't get fined. I had a baby blue corduroy jacket that had the patches on the elbows.
Oh, nice.
They were you have to wear a collared shirt, so I had a polo shirt with a tie on. And then
clip on?
Oh no, it wasn't tie, but with
Fancy.
A polo shirt. They were you have to have a shirt with a collar and a tie. And then we had to wear sports coats. So I had this baby with the patches. Dude, it was so over the top. And I just remember we had to have leather shoes, and so I was wearing suede bands.
Yeah.
And I remember I remember Andy Reid coming by and just being just shaking his head at me, and I'm like, I'm wearing a collar and a fucking shirt. It just, to me, it seemed fucking stupid to waste all this money on stupid shit. I don't know. I mean, a fucking size XXX mink coat, really $40,000 on a fucking coat. It's worthless to me. But hey, it's each their own, I guess. Now, if that was a weekend in Vegas with a bunch of steak dinners, I got no problem spending that.
Yeah, that's different.
I'm not spending that on fucking Gators and a mink coat.
Unless we're eating the Gators.
I was telling these guys one year we went out in Vegas, and I was I like to gamble, but I don't like to lose. So it's this weird thing where I enjoy gambling, but I don't like to lose, so I just don't gamble because I hate to lose more than I like to gamble. And so we were there playing these tables, and I think I'd won $500 or $600. And so I'm sitting next to this dude who was a first rounder, played in the NFL a long time, big money dude. And he's like, "How you doing?" I'm like, "I'm up 600." He's like, "Oh, I'm down 750." I'm like, "Oh." And then I look over and I'm playing $100 chips, and he's playing $10,000 stacks. And I realized he was down $750,000.
Dude,
and thank God I was up $600. I mean, I was just hoping to get some fucking in and out on my drive home.
Right.
And but just I'm sure we could talk for fucking hours about just the decadence and the fucking way people blow money. I mean, it's unbelievable. So it's good stuff though. You get a good laugh out of it. It's good stories later on in life.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
You're never shocked by anything.
So what's this season look like for you, Austin? I mean, what are you going in? Got your mind right? Ready for your Met contest?
My what contest?
Your Metcon?
The condition test?
Yeah, the condo test. The condo.
Right. No, I'm excited. We should, they've made a lot of changes this offseason, so we'll see what happens. I mean, you just never know, honestly. Like, this league's so much about, like, the smallest margin that your season could change, so drastically, so quickly. But me personally, I just, the reason it's gone so fast for me, like, I'll never forget, like, rookie year, I was like, I'd love to just play for 1 year. Let me make it 1 year. And then 1 year turned into 2 years. And then now I'm going into my fourth season. It's kind of like it just goes by so fast because you're always fighting and trying to just make it. And once you make it, it's like, all right, it's all about week to week. It's not about, people don't kind of forget that, like, even though, you make the opening day roster or, like, they make the final cuts, guys get cut all week, every week. And, like, so it's stressful and, like, you take it week to week, and then next thing you know, the season's over and you're in the off season again.
Well, that's especially for you too. You're kind of at that pivotal kind of vested deal where 3 years, 3 games. So you're going into your fourth year. This is like a big year for you in terms of getting vested.
Right. So I need 3 games, and so,
so
that is.
So then,
Austin, do you think that stress helps your performance?
The what?
You think that high level of stress helps you be the best Austin Johnson you can be every day?
I do, because, like, I like how, I like having a chip on my shoulder. I like, kind of, I had heard, like, the scouts had said, like, when I first got there that they didn't think I could play in the NFL. And so, like, I always kind of looked at that like, all right, that's fine. Like, I wasn't always, I've obviously been blessed with a lot of good abilities and attributes and traits. And, but the stress, like, it doesn't really get to me because I've had it my whole life, and, like, that's just part of the game. Like, it's going to be stressful, but as long as you're prepared and ready to go, and, like, I know I'm going to be that when it comes Sunday, the game's easy. So, but, like, being a fullback is, like, you don't really know, like, how much you're going to play, or kind of going in every season is, all right, are they still going to be using a fullback a lot, or is it going to start moving away from using a fullback? I get that question every camp, like, oh, well, you're seeing these many teams not use fullback anymore. Like, do you think that's going to happen with y'all? And I'm like, I don't know. I can't control that, but I do really well on special teams, so I know I can contribute there. And then when they need me at fullback, I contribute there. So I think ultimately just making myself as versatile as possible, kind of, and being good at everything that I do, hopefully keeps me around as long as I can.
So you went undrafted, which is a challenge, and then you transitioned from linebacker to fullback. Was that your call, scout's call, coach's call? Yeah,
well, it definitely wasn't my call. I mean, I wanted to play linebacker. When Kiffin came, he played me at fullback. So I had played fullback for 1 season with Tennessee. So when I did my pro day, I did both because I wanted teams to know, like, hey, I was just trying to make it in the NFL. So I was like, I'll do some running back stuff too. Maybe a team will see me at that. And every team I talked to, they're like, we see a linebacker. And then the Saints called and they saw me at a fullback. And at that point, I'd waited a year. So I was like, screw it. I'm going. I'm not, going to wait to see if someone else calls to play linebacker. But the transition, it's all a mentality, what I've learned. At the end of the day, I'm not the best player out there, and I know that. But I know that I want it more than the guy across from me. I know that he's not going to come in as hard as I'm going to come in, and I'm basically going to beat him. And, like, when I don't have that mentality anymore, then I know that it's probably time for me to, hang it up and not play anymore. But so right now, if I'm lining up, I can easily turn a switch on, in 2 seconds. And when I'm running an ISO, I'm not going to be, scared to run in there and hit the biggest linebacker in there, even though I might not be the biggest fullback. So,
well, I always hear that thing where people are like, oh, teams get rid of their fullbacks, and I think that's bullshit. If you have a good fullback, nobody gets rid of a good fullback. I think that all of a sudden don't have a player, all of a sudden go from that. But shit, dude, I can think of every team that I played on, that we had a strong running game. The year that, all those years with the Chiefs with Priest Holmes and Larry Johnson. I mean, dude, we had Tony Richardson in there, and T. Rich was like, one of the best. John Ritchie when I played in Philly. I mean, and Kevin Turner, who just passed away. He was our fullback my rookie year. And so, I mean, I think, the teams that, have always kind of run that power game and, like you said, like inside zone, outside zone. I mean, all that stuff really comes out with a lead blocker. I mean, there aren't too many people that are running ace back that's running a solo type deal. I mean, you really can't run. I mean, you think about it, like how do you run inside, outside power and, all those different deals, like without a lead back? It's fucking tough.
Yeah. And like colleges nowadays are going to like spreads and everything, so it's hard to find them. So like a lot of the fullbacks in the league now are guys that are converted, to either a running back converted or a defensive player converted. So that's what you're seeing more, anyways. Did you play with or against Greg Jones?
Greg Jones.
He played running back for Florida State. He's like yoked up, and then he went to Jacksonville. He played fullback there for like 7 or 8 years, and he retired about 2 years ago.
I can't picture his name. I mean, I remember what was his? Who was?
He would have been younger when you were playing, maybe like a rookie. I don't know what his first year was.
I can't remember.
2004 was his first year.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. The one dude I always remember is we went down to play Jacksonville. Their running back was that little stout dude.
Maurice Jones-Drew.
Yeah, dude, he killed us.
That was like the duo. It was Greg Jones and Maurice Jones-Drew. They were like a duo.
We went down there, I want to say, in like 2006 or 2007, and that little dude absolutely killed us. Like he fucking Derek Johnson was our linebacker, and DJ was a Texas guy, and played a long time, and real bad body. If he's listening to us, I'm gonna fucking tear him up. He always had a bad body. But, such a gifted athlete. And I remember that little dude, I mean, and DJ's fast. That little guy fucking smoked him and was, he wasn't very big. He had to be, like every bit of like maybe 5'7", 5'8". And, the dude was killing people. So he's a good player.
Yeah, I'd seen highlights from him, like on some blitz pickups, Maurice Jones-Drew, and he definitely comes out of his hips on,
Oh, yes.
He's smacking some bulls.
Dude, when so I remember I played with LeVon Kirkland.
Okay.
Yeah, LeVon Kirkland was like 6 foot, 300 pound middle linebacker for the Steelers. And I remember the first time I got to go play against him when he was at Pittsburgh. I came out and I figured this big dude was going to light me up, and I went out there and fucking lunged at him, and he fucking Olayed me. And I remember I was like, I thought you were going to hit me. He's like, I ain't trying to hit nobody. and the next play, I came out and I came out a little hesitant. And he fucking buried me. And he was, and it was one of those things where I was like, okay, I got you. And then he came over to the Eagles, and he laughed, and he's like, man, I get everybody with that. He's like, don't feel bad. And I was like, so I remember when he retired, he gave me one of his jerseys from Pittsburgh, and I still got it on my wall. So I remember all the old guys that were real, just contributed to my education as a player. They, I would like at the end of the year, when they give you a bunch of jerseys. So I always traded jerseys with all the old guys, and I always kept all their stuff just because I was like, when people ask me about them, I'm always like, let me tell you what that guy taught me. And he was.
That's
a
cool great one.
Yeah, he. So like when Jared Allen was a rookie when I was, was in Kansas City, and so I took him under my wing, and so I remember I gave him my jersey. He was like, "What's it?" And I told him, and he's like, "Oh shit, I'm going to do that every year after." So. And he went on, just retired, ended up being a pretty damn good player.
Yeah, he had a cool retirement video.
Yeah, riding off.
Yeah,
on the horseback.
Yeah, I was supposed to go to his retirement party, but my wife ended up deciding to have a baby, so we ended up having to miss it. But no, he was a good player, man. And really what helped him was when he came in as a rookie, he got to face Willie Roaf every day, and Willie Roaf, played in New Orleans for a long time, but Willie's probably one of the best offensive linemen I've ever seen in my life. And
Willie, he's a legend in New Orleans.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, well, I mean, he played at La Tech. And but yeah, Willie's fucking beast. And Willie was out there fucking killing him every day. And I remember one day Jared ended up beating him, and we were like, this kid might actually be pretty fucking good. And Jared Allen ended up being a pretty good player. So.
I mean, the opportunity, man. Had he not had that opportunity, where would Jared Allen be today?
Well, you think about, I mean, every day, I mean, that offensive line I played on is considered one of the best in pro football ever. I mean, with Will Shields and Willie Roaf and, Tony Gonzalez. And then we had this dude named Jason, fucking forgetting his last name, Jason Dunn, who was really an offensive lineman moonlighting as a tight end. He was probably about 6'4", probably about 285 pounds. And, dude, between him and Tony, I mean, that was really how we had all those running yards with Priest Holmes and Tony Richardson. I mean, we just fucking off tackle, just killing people every play. So we had a pretty good deal in that way. So I felt fortunate just to be included on that one. So, I mean, that's the cool part is you get to come in and you get to see all these kind of like, I mean, at least that was for me. I remember I got to come in and start as a rookie. You get to, like, you're playing with all these dudes and you're like, fuck, I actually know who these guys are. These guys are all really good. You sure I should be out here? And then all of a sudden you realize you get a little bit older and you're like, oh, fuck, I do belong out here, So it's a cool feeling. I'm sure you feel like that lining up at Drew Brees. You're like, wasn't this dude on the cover of Madden at some point?
Yeah, it definitely was shocking at first, but, now it's kind of like just another day at work,
Yeah.
Where you roll in and you're like, I thought he would have been taller. That was one thing I always remember. Drew Brees. Like, this is a little motherfucker right here. I mean, and to be slinging the ball and running like he does. I mean, I remember when I met Drew Brees, I was like, he's a fucking little dude. But, I mean, that guy fucking slang it. That's what you got to like.
Yeah. He's awesome, too. He's a good – I'm very lucky to have him as our quarterback, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's kind of like a Peyton Manning type guy where, he knows what's going on before everybody else does. I mean, he's been around long enough to where he's not just a student of the game, the guy's a professor of the game. And, that's –
He makes blitz pick up 10 times easier.
he gets up there and he's, like, pointing stuff out,
Sometimes the line gets pissed at him, though, because, like, he'll know there's only 4 coming, but he knows, like, the safety's coming, so he mics the safety, so now the line's got to pick him up, and the running back gets out.
Yeah, changing the protection, slide it that way. Yeah. So
yeah.
I always see, like when you guys watch it, when they run to the line, you see the center always point out, and he's usually always pointing out Mike. So basically all the protections and the runs are all based off of the Mike call. And then all of a sudden you see the quarterback slap and change the Mike call, and you see a bunch of offensive linemen fucking look over the shoulder all pissed off because they're like fucking overriding the Mike call. So then you're like, fucking everybody up. So
yeah.
All right. So any big plans this offseason? You got anything going on? Any trips? Doing anything fun? Come on, let us live vicariously through you.
Dude, I haven't really. I've been hunting a little bit, so I've been turkey hunting. My dad has some land in South Carolina, so I go up there and I turkey hunt. I've been doing that like all this week. And
did you bag a turkey or no?
I haven't yet, dude. They're pissing me off.
Dude, they are fast, big-blooded birds.
And fucking, like, see every fucking thing, dude.
They see everything, and they're gobbling, and then, like, when they come off the roost, they're shutting up, and I don't even know where they are, so I try to sneak up on them, and next thing you know, they're running off.
So you're stalking them?
Are you bow hunting them?
Well, I'm having to because they're not gobbling right now. I guess they're all hinned up, so it's kind of screwing up my hunts. But no, I wasn't. I have killed 2 turkeys with my bow before, but I'm going with my shotgun because, like, when I go with my bow, I have to, like, sit in, like, a blind the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So I like, kind of running around and chasing them a little, running gunning a little bit more with the shotgun.
Sure.
So
we used to go turkey hunting in Kansas City, and I remember we would sit up in those blinds with the bows, and actually that was pretty fun trying to shoot them. But I was always amazed at how fucking fast those big-butted birds move. You think things with big butts can't move that fast? Those motherfuckers, I mean, they can't fly, but they can fucking jump.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're tough to kill. But no other really trips planned yet. I mean, I'm going to got some concerts we're going to, some of my buddies, and then New Orleans. There's always stuff going on.
Yeah.
So we got Jazz Fest coming up, and then we got Bayou Country Music Fest coming up. Chris Stapleton's coming in town.
Nice.
So we always get hooked up on all those and go to those and kind of enjoy ourselves a little bit. Nothing's better than OTAs. I mean, it's just kind of being back with the guys and, like, training every day and just kind of enjoying that together. And it's, like, not really the stress of football yet. I think it's kind of the best time of the year.
Well, it's a great time in New Orleans. It's not hot yet, and it's still sunny.
Yeah, it's great weather.
No, dude, I like to see Chris Stapleton. The other guy I've been dying to see is Eric Church.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's stuff we listen to here at the office. I mean, but, yeah, it's good stuff.
Yep.
Nice.
Tex, you got anything else?
Yeah, man. Austin, when are we going to get you to a CrossFit football seminar? We got Tennessee in June.
Tennessee?
Yeah.
In June? June what?
6th.
Yeah. First weekend, I think.
Okay.
Dude, get out there. We're there.
Once you got OTAs.
Yeah, I'm trying to think when we get off OTAs.
At least just show up and wave and just get in there for the picture.
Where'd you say in Tennessee?
I think it's at Cooksville.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, at Rich Froning. You could have a showdown with Rich Froning. It's at his gym.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Oh.
Dude, do y'all do like the open workouts and stuff?
No, I've changed my major. I'm out.
Yeah, like those workouts are ridiculous.
No.
I didn't do them. I know, like I keep my training real, like I love doing like 90-second workouts. Like I'll go all out, do like a 20 calorie air dyne.
Who are you trying to impress at 90 seconds? Come on.
Yeah, right.
Hey,
I tell Luke all the time, who are you trying to impress in 10 seconds?
That's right.
Hey, like these like engine ones like that are lasting 20 minutes just aren't for me. I'm telling you.
Nah, dude, that's I don't know who that's fucking favoring.
That's a Prius engine.
Yeah, that's
right.
That's no dragster.
Yeah, dude. It's a 20-calorie air dyne sprint, maybe 4 burpees, and 10 kettlebell swings.
Burpees. Fuck.
No, you got 90 seconds, 20 calories on the air dyne, and AMRAP dumbbell thrusters. Rest 90 seconds and repeat that until you fall off your numbers.
I like Aerodyne sprint and hammer curls.
Oh, some hammer curls.
Hammer curls. That's like our favorite one.
Yeah,
right
I was
there.
warming up on the assault bike yesterday, and I decided to just do like a little 15-second sprint, but I was going backwards. Dude, you want to fucking blast your quads? I'm telling you, occlusion, airdyne, reverse pedal. That thing is fucking, I'm telling you, it's going to crush people.
Okay.
So,
All right, I'm in.
The only way I can get guys on my team to work out with me is if I throw in some hammer curls. So I'll make sure I bring that workout back
Dude,
to New Orleans.
steady diet of hammer curls can get you right. I mean, there was always the fear of like, having like the skinny arms hanging out of your jersey, So, dude,
Yeah, you're right.
do that shit up and do some arms. Like, man, my arms don't look so good. I'm like,
Every Saturday after walkthrough, we all go in the weight room and have the TV arm day. Everybody just tries to get swole before Sunday.
That was our deal on Fridays. Man, we would go there. It was fucking. That's where the whole Jack Street thing comes in. We were like, man, there's this place over in Philly. It's called Jack Street. You got to get on it. So that was where all that came from.
Yeah.
So Friday, and that's why that whole program is called Jack Street. Is based up on this, like what we would do on our Fridays for just bodybuilding shit. And,
That's
like Broad Street was where the facility was. You got Broad Street. No, it's Jack Street, dude. Get over here. Let's go. So
Occlusion stuff, you get all the benefits without fucking overworking. So that's definitely a conversation to have.
Yeah, dude. If we got all this right up on occlusion, the idea is that it's like blood flow restricted training. You actually use bands to actually reduce venial blood flow. So what it does is it forces blood to pool in the muscle, and it's got some pretty cool stuff. It ramps up growth hormone like 300 times, and also actually has some myostatin blockers. So like the myostatin bowls, it's got some pretty cool stuff that we've been doing with it, and you can actually use a lighter load so you don't stress the joint out as much. And just the idea is about just fucking flushing the blood. And it actually is kind of neat too because it trains both
fast twitch, slow twitch.
Well, no, it trains type AB and type X fibers, and also slow twitch. So it's kind of a cool deal. We started using it in all of our finisher stuff, but it fucking works.
And you get a fucking sick pump, dude.
Yeah, you get a mean pump.
I like it. There's nothing better than a sick pump.
Yeah, it works good. So you have to throw
like Arnold would say, Arnold is better than coming.
Yeah, right.
Dude, I'm actually working on an article right now. It's called Chasing the Pump. And in it, Arnold's like, I have the best life. I'm coming all day. Oddly enough, I was looking for some of his quotes. And one of my favorite gifts ever I got at our annual Christmas party. Somebody gave me the Arnold Schwarzenegger Modern Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding. This thing is, it even goes into how to pick your pose, your trunks for your bodybuilding show. I was like, somebody gave it to me, and I was like, let me pull this shit out. I'm looking, he's like talking about how to tailor your fucking underwear so you look like that.
Oh wow!
We'll go over that a little bit.
So Reddit cover to cover, and what type of trunks would you go for?
Arnold like brown trunks. I'd probably go with black. I think I go with black ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes the package look bigger.
Oh, yeah. Stripes.
Red all day.
Yeah.
Your red, Tex?
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
Flashy.
I'm going yellow trunks to really, like, highlight the bronze. You know what I mean?
Really? Red trunks?
Well, it's like Ace and Gary, ambiguously gay duo.
Dude, did you ever hear of a receiver named Johnny Morton?
Yeah.
They played at USC. So Johnny Morton
he's our wide receivers coach.
Shut the fuck up, really?
Yeah.
Let me tell you a Johnny Morton story. And you can
He played in the NFL, right, for a little while?
Johnny Morton played in the NFL for a long time.
Okay, yeah. He's our wide receivers coach, I'm pretty sure.
Is he like kind of light-skinned black dude?
Nope, he's not our wide receivers coach. All right, go ahead.
Okay. Well, there's this dude on our team named Johnny Morton who played at USC. And all of a sudden, you come in the morning and, people are getting undressed and whatever, getting your stuff, and he had a locker near me. All of a sudden, he goes, takes off his pants, and the motherfucker was wearing a thong.
What's wrong with that?
Right? Just straight up man thong. Like, I'm talking like, not like a woman's thong, but like a man thong.
Yeah, I got the banana hammer.
Right? And I remember everybody was like, and he was like he looked down and he was like, he goes to like, oh man, I was just fucking with you guys to see what would happen, and we were like,
Yeah.
like this is like this dude straight up had like Botox and shit. He used to go get like microdermal facials and all this stuff, and I'm like, he was like the dude that went and got a pedicure and a manicure every Friday after fucking practice because he had to look good on game day, and the motherfucker was wearing a thong. So, shit,
Oh, that's great.
So. Well, thanks, dude. I really appreciate it, man.
Awesome, man.
Letting us suck up as much time as you can. So, I'm sure you're trying to figure out your next meal. But, dude, thanks for jumping on. And, fuck, dude, stay in touch. Hopefully we'll see you soon.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
I'll hit you up with the info on that cert if you can hop over if you're available.
Yeah, I would love to join one. That sounds fun.
Yeah,
I'd love
dude,
to do it.
invitation. So just whenever we're out your way, we'll shoot you a message. But keep an eye on the schedule, or however, we'll cross paths for sure.
Yeah, and where are y'all located?
In Newport Beach.
Y'all. Oh, okay.
If you ever make it out to Orange County, California, Newport Beach, Southern California, dude, you're always welcome.
Yeah, I go out to San Diego every off season, and I train with Mike Carney. He played fullback for a while in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm John Carney, who the kicker. He's having a deal for his I think it's dinner with the pros next week. So
okay,
charity deal. I'm one of the waiters for that. So him and Steve.
Oh, nice.
That so.
Yeah, me and Mike, we went over to John Carney's and trained at his thing and did all that. But yeah, man, if I'm nearby or something like that, I'll holler at y'all. I'd love to work out with y'all and kind of just hang out for a day or something.
Yeah, dude. Even if you're in San Diego, it's easier to get to. Even.
Yeah, it's less than I think it's like 45 minutes.
So.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, stay in touch.
Yeah, it's quick.
All right, cool. I appreciate y'all having me.
You know it, awesome, man. Have a good one, man.
Take care.
Best luck. Stay healthy.
Now it's time for you to empower your performance. You can stalk Austin Johnson in your free time by following him on Instagram at AustinJ40. Also, come football season, you'll be able to catch him playing for the Saints. Don't forget to stay connected to Power Athlete posts, happenings, and bullshit memes by following us on Instagram at Power Athlete HQ. Until next time, bye!